A junction box, often referred to as a J-box, serves as a protective enclosure for electrical connections. They are strategically placed within a building structure to facilitate the safe and organized distribution of electrical power. When addressing wiring configurations within a bathroom setting, several factors come into play to ensure compliance with electrical codes and safety standards. First, the placement of the J-box is paramount. It should be located in an accessible location, meaning it should not be buried behind drywall or other permanent finishes. This accessibility is crucial for future maintenance, troubleshooting, or modifications to the electrical system. Secondly, the wiring within the J-box must adhere to the National Electrical Code, often referred to as NEC. This code provides comprehensive guidelines for safe wiring practices, including wire sizing, insulation requirements, and grounding techniques. It is crucial to consult the latest edition of the NEC to ensure compliance. Thirdly, consider the type of wiring used. In residential applications, non-metallic sheath cable, commonly known as Romex, is often used. However, in damp or wet locations such as bathrooms, it is essential to use moisture-resistant wiring such as Type UF cable. This type of cable is designed to withstand exposure to moisture and prevent electrical hazards. Fourthly, all electrical connections within the J-box must be made using approved methods. Wire connectors, such as wire nuts or crimp connectors, should be used to ensure secure and reliable connections. The connectors must be properly sized for the gauge of wire being used, and they must be installed according to the manufacturer's instructions. Fifthly, grounding is a critical aspect of electrical safety. All electrical equipment and metal enclosures must be properly grounded to provide a path for fault current to flow back to the source, tripping a circuit breaker or fuse and preventing electrical shock hazards. The grounding conductor should be connected to the grounding terminal within the J-box and to the equipment being served. Sixthly, when working with electrical wiring, it is essential to de-energize the circuit before making any connections. This can be accomplished by turning off the circuit breaker that supplies power to the circuit. It is also advisable to use a voltage tester to verify that the circuit is indeed de-energized before proceeding. Seventhly, label all wires within the J-box to identify their purpose. This will make it easier to troubleshoot or modify the wiring in the future. Use wire markers or tape to label each wire with its corresponding circuit and function. Eighthly, ensure that the J-box is properly secured to the building structure. It should be mounted to a stud or other solid support to prevent it from moving or becoming dislodged. Ninthly, when routing wires into the J-box, use cable clamps or connectors to secure the cables and prevent them from being pulled out. These clamps should be installed in accordance with the manufacturer's instructions. Tenthly, avoid overfilling the J-box with too many wires or connections. The NEC specifies the maximum number of conductors that can be installed in a J-box based on its size. Overfilling the box can create a fire hazard and make it difficult to work on the wiring in the future. 11thly, if you are not comfortable working with electrical wiring, it is best to hire a qualified electrician to perform the work. Electrical work can be dangerous, and it is essential to have the necessary knowledge and skills to do the job safely. 12thly, when installing a J-box in a bathroom, consider the proximity to water sources such as sinks, showers, and toilets. The NEC specifies minimum clearances that must be maintained between electrical equipment and water sources to prevent electrical shock hazards. 13thly, if the J-box is located in a damp or wet location, use a weatherproof enclosure to protect the wiring from moisture. These enclosures are designed to prevent water from entering the box and causing corrosion or electrical shorts. 14thly, when running wires through walls or ceilings, use appropriate wiring methods to protect the cables from damage. This may involve using conduit, cable trays, or other protective measures. 15thly, always follow the manufacturer's instructions when installing electrical equipment or components. These instructions provide important information about proper installation techniques and safety precautions. 16thly, before energizing the circuit, double-check all connections to ensure that they are secure and properly insulated. Look for any loose wires or exposed conductors that could pose a safety hazard. 17thly, after the wiring is complete, test the circuit to ensure that it is working properly. Use a multimeter or other testing device to verify that the voltage, current, and resistance are within acceptable limits. 18thly, keep a record of all electrical work that you perform, including the date, description of the work, and any materials used. This record will be helpful for future maintenance or troubleshooting. 19thly, familiarize yourself with the local electrical codes and regulations. These codes may vary from place to place, and it is essential to comply with them to ensure the safety of your electrical system. 20thly, consider the use of arc fault circuit interrupters, often referred to as ASIs, to protect against electrical fires. ASIs are designed to detect and interrupt arc faults, which are a common cause of electrical fires. 21st, when working with aluminum wiring, use special connectors and antioxidant compounds to prevent corrosion. Aluminum wiring is more susceptible to corrosion than copper wiring, and these measures are necessary to ensure a reliable connection. 22nd, if you are adding a new circuit to your electrical system, be sure to calculate the load requirements to ensure that the existing service panel has enough capacity. Overloading the service panel can create a fire hazard. 23rd, when replacing an existing J-box, be sure to disconnect the power to the circuit and carefully remove the old box. Inspect the wiring for any damage and make any necessary repairs before installing the new box. 24th, if you are installing a J-box in a location where it may be subject to physical damage, use a metal enclosure to protect the wiring. Metal enclosures are more durable than plastic enclosures and can withstand impacts and other types of damage. 25th, when running wires through metal studs, use grommets to protect the cables from abrasion. Metal studs can have sharp edges that can damage the insulation of the wires, creating a safety hazard. 26th, if you are installing a J-box in a location where it may be exposed to chemicals or other corrosive substances, use a corrosion-resistant enclosure. These enclosures are made of materials that are designed to withstand exposure to harsh environments. 27th, when working with high-voltage circuits, take extra precautions to protect yourself from electrical shock. Wear insulated gloves and use insulated tools to prevent contact with live wires. 28th, if you are unsure about any aspect of electrical wiring, it is always best to consult with a qualified electrician. They can provide expert advice and ensure that the work is done safely and correctly. 29th, regularly inspect your electrical system for any signs of damage or wear. Look for cracked or frayed wires, loose connections, and other potential hazards. 30th, if you notice any problems with your electrical system, have them repaired promptly by a qualified electrician. Ignoring electrical problems can lead to serious safety hazards. In summary, properly placing a J-box and making electrical connections within a bathroom requires meticulous attention to detail and adherence to electrical codes and safety standards. By following these guidelines, you can ensure a safe and reliable electrical system for your home.